What is up, YouTube? Welcome to the Truck Insurance Channel. We are live again with a Q&A this evening. So I just wanted to come on and say hey to everyone. I heard today that was pretty interesting. So I actually was talking to somebody about their application. And they had talked to a couple different agents about coverages, and they were kind of confused because they had gotten multiple quotes through different agents, but it was all through the same insurance company. And basically, long story short, every quote was different. They were kind of confused because they were giving everybody the same information. But one thing that they didn't take into consideration was that they are actually renting a truck. And so each quote had a different VIN number on it. You know, one you might have saw 2015, one you might have saw 2020, one you might have saw 2013. And so basically, the agents were using VIN numbers they found on Google, and that was resulting in completely different quotes, usually a couple $1,000 difference between something like a 2015 and a 2020, maybe even a 2022. And the customer was trying to figure out what was going on. So, guys, keep in mind when you're shopping around, if you don't have a VIN number, that's fine. But because an agent has to have a VIN number to do the quote, they're going to go Google it themselves. So one of my tips for when you're shopping around for quotes is to just go pull a VIN number off of Google and give every agent that same VIN number if they're not already providing you one. Now, when you get a quote through Charles String, we provide you a VIN number. So that way, you know what's going on, you know what truck is being quoted. And basically that truck is with the rental company of your choosing. So like, for example, when you're filling our quote form out, if you select budget, it's going to populate a VIN number, and that VIN is actually one of budget's VIN numbers to be able to get you approved for a commercial account. So like whether you choose budget, rider, enterprise, Penske, we have VIN numbers with each company in order to make this happen. So I just wanted to touch base with everyone and just let everybody know about that, because if you are shopping around for quotes, whether it be your new venture, whether it be your renewal, just make sure that when you're quoting with different agents, you're getting the same quote with the same VIN number. Otherwise, your quotes are going to completely vary, even if the coverages are the same. But I just wanted to touch base on that and talk about that for a second. If you guys have any questions about anything, please drop a comment in the comment box, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. That's the goal here of these live Q&As, is for you guys to be able to ask questions in real time without having to schedule a call. Keep in mind, if you have specific questions, you can absolutely schedule a call. We do encourage everybody to schedule calls. They're unlimited. They don't cost anything, and you can schedule as many as you want. If you want to schedule a call every single week because you have a lot of questions, that's totally fine. I don't mind. We've got a question here from Go Truck Yourself. I like the name. So it says, with a new authority, will my premium be cheaper the second year? There are a lot of variables that will determine whether or not a premium goes down in the second year. In a perfect world, absolutely, you would basically go down going into year two. I just saw your second comment about you currently have Progressive. One big thing about Progressive and where people will sometimes see a decrease in their quote going into year two is from their ELD. See, Progressive offers an ELD discount to every single person, every single new venture. It's a minimum of 5% in your first year. Then your ELD is going to give you a driver score. That information is going to be looked back 90 days by Progressive and reported back over to them from your ELD company. For example, Motive, right? Motive is going to provide that information to Progressive, and then Progressive is going to determine your discount going into year two based on that driver score. So like, for example, let's say you just have an absolutely perfect driver score, no errors, no messing up. That ELD discount that you got 5% in your first year can be up to 20% going into your renewal. So assuming you have no claims, you have no accidents, no new violations on your MVR, or anything like that, whether it's personal or commercial, guys, make sure we talk about that, right? Personal and commercial violations, bad. If you get a speeding ticket in your personal vehicle, it's going to go against your commercial policy at renewal. A lot of people don't understand that. So assuming that nothing has changed, you've had no claims, no new violations, and there's been no like weird changes in the state, because sometimes you will see a rate increase in the state. And obviously that's out of control. That applies to all insurance companies. Assuming that hasn't changed and you don't have any claims, no incidents on your record, anything like that, your premium should be cheaper in the second year. I mean, it definitely should be, but it's never guaranteed. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think, okay, first year it's going to be this price, second year we're going to cut in half. And it just doesn't usually work like that. There are discounts that you will be eligible for in your second year, assuming everything goes well in your first year, like I said, without the claims, without the violations, anything like that. But it can vary from person to person based on what happens throughout that year. I know you said Progressive now is like killing you. So the rates are just killing you. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what are you currently, what are you paying? Is it per month, per year? Do you know what you're currently sitting at? And what type of truck also as well? I'm just curious. And then keep in mind, guys, I wanted to add one thing actually to coming into your renewal. So Garmin ELD or ELOG, as long as you have an ELD and it can report to the insurance company, yes, it definitely works. I don't know if we're your agent or not. If we're not your agent, check with your agent, make sure that the ELD discount is applied to your policy. It's 5% in the first year. Again, it may not seem like a lot, but when you're talking 20 grand, it does give you some savings. I mean, $100 a month is $100 a month, right? That's how I look at it. So anyways, what I wanted to add though, to what could potentially make your premium increase or decrease during that year, credit score. So let's say, for example, you have a 550 credit score right now, and then you get some things to fall off your credit, you get your stuff back in line, and you've got a 650 credit score going into your renewal. More than likely, your policy is going to be a decent amount cheaper, because the better your credit, the better your rate. And that's going to apply going into that renewal as well. You said you had a 2016 Cascadia. You're paying about $3,800 a month now. That is definitely on the higher side. What state are you out of? And how do you know how your credit looks or driving record? Do you have a clean record? Definitely what state you're in will definitely have a factor, guys. Every state is going to be a different rate. There are some states that are cheaper than others. There are some that are much higher than others. But it just varies from person to person. And then you've got, top 3 most expensive states, I would say in order: New York, then from New York go into Florida, and then Florida to California. But just like I just said, Florida, right? So second most expensive state right now is Florida from what I've seen. But then again, I've also seen quotes come out of Florida that are 15 grand. When you're on the older side of things, right, on that driver range that Progressive likes, which is 35 to 65, you are going to be if you're on the higher end of things, let's say you're 55 years old, 750 credit score, it's totally possible to be paying 15 grand a year in Florida. I've seen it happen, but it is more rare. I see you said you're in Florida, 680 credit score. 680 credit score is pretty decent overall. I mean, that's considered good from a credit score perspective. You're in Florida, so you're in the second most expensive state. So it definitely makes sense why your rate would be higher. Do you know if you have anything on your MVR at all? And when did you buy your policy? Do you have an agent, or have you spoke to your agent about potential discounts? Just curious about that. Because there are if you're a Progressive customer and you're in your first you're in your first year of business, there are 3 discounts automatically that you will be eligible, or that you could be eligible for. ELD, everybody's going to be eligible for that. Second discount is auto draft, which everybody's going to be eligible for that as well, assuming you want to set it up. And then the third discount, this is a pretty significant discount. Everyone's eligible for it if you meet the requirements. So the third discount is your prior insurance. Now, going into business as a new venture, you don't have prior insurance. One of the questions is, have you had a prior commercial general liability policy? Probably not, because you're a new venture, right? But your personal auto policy that you have on your personal vehicle, as long as the policy is in your name and has been active for at least 1 year, that will qualify you for an additional discount. So anybody out there who, whether you have Progressive Direct, if you have Progressive Direct, let's talk about that. Definitely schedule a call. If you have an agent, talk to your agent. Make sure your discounts are applied, because you don't want to be throwing away money. You said, go truck yourself. You said always had a. Are you saying you always had an agent, or what are you saying there? I think You might have hit send a little bit too early on that comment. Okay, so you said I've got a clean MVR until 2 years ago. Had a tire come off my trailer. I was pulling with a personal vehicle and hit another car. Okay, so that is considered an at-fault accident. So an at-fault accident in Florida, and you're in a Cascadia, so you're in a heavier weight CDL based vehicle. I definitely could see you paying $3,800 a month for that, especially until that drops off your record. Here's the thing with that. You said that was 2 years ago. Apologize, guys, for that. Just had a call come in unexpectedly. So 2 years ago, right? So 2 years ago, you had the tire come off the trailer, hit another vehicle. With Florida, when it comes to Progressive, they look back 5 years on MVR. So unfortunately, that's going to be on your record for the next 3 years if you stay with Progressive. Now, every year that goes by, it will affect you less and less. So it is, obviously it's going to be to your benefit the more time that passes. So going into the next year, it still, hypothetically speaking, should be cheaper because it would be more time had passed since that incident. So in your scenario, it's kind of just waiting for that to come off your record. And then again, there's some companies out there that look back only 3 years on MVR, but I will say most companies are moving to 5 years at this point. Do we have any other questions out there? I know it's just been about the Cascadia here in the comments. Do we have any other questions, guys? Got insurance in December. Okay, so you have been active for about 8 months now. So you're coming up on renewal in another 4 months, pretty much. So we can definitely take a look at your renewal and see if we can find any other options for you. Let's see, Nicholas Alves. We have let's see. Okay, bye, guy. Hi, guys. I'm in Massachusetts. My agent is your partner, Tailored Insurance Group, 26-year-old driving budget truck, and they're charging me a total of $31,515. $2,600 a month. Felt it was super high. What do you guys think? So 31,000 is on the higher side of what I would consider an average. So I mean, I regularly see policies between 20 and 25 grand. It's very common in your first year to be like 20, 25 grand a year. I would say I do see a lot of policies as well that are like 30 to 35 grand, not as many as that average of 20 to 25, but I definitely see at least one policy a day between 30 and 35 grand. You're kind of young, you're 26 years old. So you're falling on the outside of what a preferred driver is. Are you with Progressive or do you know Taylor? So Tailored, our partner, do you know who they wrote your insurance with? My guess would be Progressive, but I'm just curious there. Because if you are with Progressive, their driving, the way that they do their driver age is their preferred drivers are between the ages of 35 and 65. So being that you're 26, if you are with Progressive, you are going to be at a disadvantage for what your rate's going to be. $2,600 a month, 31 grand a year. It's doable. You can absolutely operate. I have had people operate. I wouldn't say comfortably, but I've had people be successful in the $40,000 to $45,000 range. Anything above that, and it's just like we need to talk about what plan you're doing, and do you have dedicated carriers and things like that, because it's going to be very hard. But I mean, you definitely can make it through your first year at 31.5. You're going to have to hustle. Definitely going to have to hustle and just bust out as many loads as you can. Obviously, be on the hunt for the highest paying loads. And my recommendation is just go where the money is. But I trust the guys over at Tailored, and I'm sure that they have your policy set up correctly and everything is good to go with that. I'm sure you have all your discounts. It doesn't hurt to check with them just to make sure you're not missing anything. But $2,600 a month is definitely possible to be successful. We have another question here from Tyler. So Tyler asked, can you explain how to go about aging authority? Yeah, absolutely. So this is a really common question that we get. How do I age my authority? So the best way to age your authority is I'm going to assume you have not applied for a DOT number yet. When you apply for a DOT number, it's going to ask you a question about what weight class you're going to be in. If you want to age your authority, the best thing for you to do is to set up a vehicle, a non-CMV under 10,000 pounds. When you select a vehicle under 10,000 pounds, it's going to result in a required BIPD limit, which that's your auto liability. It's going to result in a required BIPD limit of $300,000. That's going to be the lowest required, like the lowest possible limit to keep your authority active. My recommendation and how we set up policies that are going to be aged are we would use your personal vehicle. Now, not to get this confused, you want to keep your personal auto policy on your personal vehicle because this policy would not cover it. It only covers it for commercial use under your business, which you won't be using it because you're aging. But by using your personal VIN number and it being a non-commercial vehicle, it's just a cheaper rate. So essentially using your personal VIN number as a placeholder for however long you want to age. Typical aging time is 90 days. There's a lot of brokers out there outside of Amazon Relay that will not work with you until you have been in business for 90 days. So you can age your motor carrier number for those first 90 days, 3 months, using your personal vehicle and the minimum required limit. Then let's say you have a policy with us, you set it up, right? You come back to us and say, hey, Nick, I am ready to go ahead and get on the road. It's been 90 days. What do I do next? You're going to go into your MCS 150 through the FMCSA and take away that less than 10,000 pound non-CMV, change that to whatever truck you're going to be operating, whether it's a straight truck, whether it's a tractor trailer, hot shot, whatever it's going to be, right? Make sure you put the correct weight class in. Then once you complete that, you let us know. Usually takes 1 to 2 days to update, and then we update your insurance policy and you're on the road within 24 hours. It's pretty simple, nothing really to it. But you could even age past the 90-day mark. Let's say you start aging your authority and you hit 90 days, but you decide something in your life has happened and you're not ready to get on the road. You can keep that aging authority. You can keep that policy. It's no problem at all. And you don't have to pay new down payments when you make the change. You don't have to do anything. Basically, everything will be broken up over your remaining installments. So that is how aging your authority works. If you have any other questions, please drop them in regards to the aging of authority. I'm going to answer this next question we have here from Go Truck Yourself. So some people are saying that their rates have gone up even though they haven't had any accidents or violations. Are you seeing that? Absolutely. That can completely happen because, again, there are more variables than accidents or violations. It's credit score. Let's say, for example, you go into your renewal. And let's say when you started your policy, you had no credit card debt. Let's say that you could spend $10,000 on credit cards and you had no credit card debt. You're good. You're in the green on your credit score. But then let's say some things happen or you put something on your credit card and it gets reported and now you're showing $7 out of $10,000. You're at 70% of your credit limit. When your renewal goes to run your credit, now that's a bad mark on your credit because your credit limit versus your debt to your debt to spending ability ratio is high, right? 70% of what's available. So that's going to hurt your rate. So if there are so many variables here and credit is the biggest variable. Credit determines everything when it comes to the biggest weighing factor. Obviously your MVR is important. Obviously not having claims is important because those things can really hurt you as well. But when you see a rate go up and there's been no claims, there's been no accidents, there's been no violations, no policy changes, right? No new drivers, anything like that. And you still see a rate go up. If there was not a state change with the rates, so let's say there was no increase in the actual state that they're located in, but the rate still went up, 99% likely it's in regards to their credit score because our credit scores change every month. If you, like I said, if you purchase something on a credit card and then it gets reported that next month that you have that balance, even if you pay it off 10 days later, it's still reporting that you have that balance. So then you go to get that renewal and boom, your renewal is more expensive. So that can definitely have an effect on it. So Tyler had one more question here. So we would need to get a quote using the personal vehicle. Yes, Tyler. In the description box of this video, you will be able to see a link to our quote form. When you're filling that quote form out, it will ask you if you want a minimum quote. You just select yes. In the vehicle section, just go ahead and put your personal vehicle in there. You can put year, make, model, VIN. You can put just the VIN number. It's totally up to you. The more information you put, the easier it is on us. We do appreciate that. But yes, that would be the process of cooking the authority, and you can do so through the link in the description. He said, okay, all right. Us being told rates are just going up because of the economy or something. Rates definitely do change year over year. Some of them, sometimes they go down, sometimes they go up. For example, where we're located, right? I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. And if you would have asked me 3 years ago to write you a tractor trailer policy, I could probably do it for under $10,000 a year. Now I can't do it for probably under 20 grand a year. There was two state increases here in North Carolina that were very significant. I think one was 100% increase and then one was an 80%, something around those numbers. It was crazy. Everybody's starting their policy, then coming into their renewal, seeing their rates doubled. And then somebody who starts a policy and has claims, and then now their rates tripled going into year two. Like that happened a lot here. A lot of people were very shocked. I don't think the state did a very good job of doing those increases. I think they should have done them, in small percentages over the course of 5 years or something. But they just basically jumped the rates up when a new commissioner of insurance, I guess, had got elected. So, yeah, no, the economy and claims and how much insurance companies are paying out can absolutely have to do with whether or not they go up. But yeah, no, I'd love to go back to $10,000 policies, guys. If I could write tractor trailers at 10 grand, I would probably write every single policy in the country. But unfortunately, I can't. Again, rates go up, rates go down. Florida was one of the states that we're now starting to see come down. Florida was higher last year than it is this year. In 2021, Florida was higher. 2022, we started to see some rates come down. So like things do fluctuate, but I like to say control the controllables, control what you guys have control of. Be a good driver. Make sure you have all your compliance with the FMCSA. Don't piss anyone off. And just make sure that you're meeting all of your requirements. Make sure that you're hiring good drivers. If you're the driver, make sure that you're being responsible. Don't do anything you can to avoid a claim. And if you have a claim and it's like 5 grand, try to negotiate with the person and try to pay it out of pocket. That may seem crazy, but a $5,000 payout now could save you $10,000 or $15,000 going forward. Go Truck Yourself asked, what's the cheapest state? I don't work in every single state right now in the U.S. Between us and our partner Tailored, we do, but I don't see the quotes that come from Tailored. So to say the cheapest state is kind of tough. I will tell you the cheapest rates I have seen are usually out of Ohio. I have also heard that South Dakota is pretty cheap. I actually spoke to somebody today who had a quote out of South Dakota that was like 8,500 for the year. Now that was a box truck, not a semi. I know you're in a semi, so semis would be more. But keep in mind, guys, when you talk about what the cheapest state is, unless you're going to pack your bags and you're going to move your life and family and whatever else, if you're all by yourself, whatever it may be, unless you're going to go move everything you have to a new state, your best bet is staying where you are. Because the insurance companies are going to require proof of residency. They're going to require you to live and be licensed in the state that you're operating out of. A lot of people out there will try to start a policy. Like if you're in New York, they'll try to start a policy in New Jersey because it's cheaper, right? But the problem with that is you're gonna run into issues with your insurance. So if you're willing to truthfully like up and move, like for example, in your scenario in Florida, I've got a customer. I don't know if he's in here right now, but I wrote his policy last year. And he was in Florida. He was running a hot shot. His quote was about $30,000 for the first year. He was previously living in Ohio and he had moved to Florida. And he decided, like when we talked about his plans of growth and everything like that, and he decided to actually move back to Ohio because his $30,000 quote in Florida was $7,000 in Ohio. Same exact equipment, same exact driver, different state. So he moved his business to Ohio. He moved to Ohio, and that's where he was originally from. So it was not a problem for him. He had just moved to Florida thinking like the rates would be better in Florida. And so he just decided to go ahead and move back. And now his business is growing. He's got several trucks on the road. He's doing really well for himself. So it's more than possible. But if you're going to look at getting quotes in another state, you need to be prepared to move to that state. My recommendation is be as serious about it as possible. But again, Ohio usually does have pretty good rates. So time has passed a little bit quicker than I expected, guys. We got about 5 minutes left here. So let's get any other additional questions that we have. And let's see. So do we work in Arkansas? Um, so we're not currently licensed in Arkansas, but our partner Tailored would be able to get a quote. I say so 31, no driving violations, CDL of 10 years. Would that make a difference in the rate? The CDL will help you. I know Progressive gives a small discount for having a CDL for 2 years or more. So if you've had 10 years experience, that will help. Obviously, no violations are great. Again, have to go back to the credit. So, like, if credit looks pretty good, it's not just the score, it's also the credit history that matters. So if your credit looks pretty good, I mean, yeah, you could have some pretty decent rates. If you want to get a quote, still request a quote through our quote form below in the description. And our partner Tailored would do that quote for you. But yeah, we can absolutely help you. It's just that it'll be going through our partner. But they're just like us. They specialize in trucking. They're very knowledgeable and come highly recommended. Okay, so we had one more question here from Go Truck Yourself. So, what if your business is located in that state? Does your personal address technically have to also be in that state? Yes, it does. So that's what I was saying. So everything has to match: driver's license, home address. Like, you can have a different business address and you can have a different mailing address than where you live. That's totally fine. But you have to maintain residency and be operating out of that state. The reason why this is so important, and I harp on this a lot when I'm doing consultations, because this question does come up a lot. Let's say, for example, you're in Florida right now and you start a policy in Ohio and you move to Ohio. And then let's just say you end up going back to Florida, or you don't really move to Ohio and you still operate out of Florida, because some people are sketchy and do that. If you do that and then a claim happens, and they find out, okay, wait, this business has been being operated out of Florida, they're not going to pay that claim. And more than likely, that broker is now going to come after your business or your own personal assets. So it's very important to make sure everything matches across the board. And that's why I harp on residency so much. If you're going to operate in another state, you need to live in that state. It's that simple. Your truck needs to be parked in that state, garaged in that state when not in use. So it's very, very important. If you want to talk in more detail about it, schedule a consultation with me through the link below. All the consultations are going to pretty much go through me. Sometimes Daniel will be on those as well if my schedule gets too full, but more than likely it'll be me. And so obviously just, mention that we talked in the live and I'll remember this conversation. And we'll be good to go. But good luck on that load. I said, gotta get to bed. Gotta load at 1 a.m. Man, that is early. Head to bed, man. Rest up, and pleasure talking to you. But let's talk again. Schedule that consultation if you need to, and we'll talk more in detail and see what the goal is here. Guys, we've got about 2 minutes left. Does anybody have any last minute questions that they want to get in before we close out this evening? And again, guys, next week will be the announcement for our giveaway. So guys, we've got the Garmin giveaway. If anybody has not been here before, we're doing these Garmin OTR giveaways every single month. And then we also have a special giveaway this month. This is the Blue Parrot headset. We're going to be doing that giveaway as well. You'll find links below on how to enter. Basically, anybody who requests a quote in the month of July is going to be the one. It will be entered through that. You don't have to have active authority. You just have to have a DOT number in order to enter. And then you also don't have to have bought the policy through us to be entered. So guys, enter that giveaway. Make sure you fill it out. Don't miss out on the chance to win a free GPS or a free headset, guys. Perfect. I'd love to talk to you when your renewal comes in and see how we can help out. Sounds like a plan. Guys, we've got about 1 minute left here. Any last minute questions? And I just want to say also, guys, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you interacting with the live tonight and asking questions. That's why we're here. It's why we do. That's why we do this. It's just a pleasure to be able to talk to you guys, answer questions. And again, we're going to be doing lives every Tuesday. So just keep tuning in. It's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern. If there is something that's changed with that, like if there is something where we have to move a day, we'll post about it a day or two in advance. So just be on the lookout for any posts. Also, I've got a poll on the channel. I'd love for you guys to go fill that poll out and just out of curiosity where people's minds are at. All right, guys, we are coming to a close here. It's been a pleasure. Yeah. So again, request the consultations, fill out the quote forms, and shoot an email, guys. Our email for our office is office@charlesstring.com. Shoot us an email if you have any additional one-off questions and you don't have time to schedule a call. But thank you guys for joining the live, and we will see you next week. It's a pleasure. Peace.